players, looking over stuff and just kind of going over it in your head?
Yeah, it's frustrating, as Cammy said. You're out the cup, and that's the biggest disappointment, because I think from where we've came from a year ago, we've got a real desire and determination to be successful. To go out like we did is really frustrating. As you said, you're disappointed, but our performance in the first half was decent. We just didn't score, and then the dynamic here again changes in terms of the pressure and the hope Falkirk get from that, and then we defended poorly twice and it cost us. So real frustration on that, but again over the last year, the way we've worked and the way we deal with things and we try and improve, we work the same way. At this time now we've got a schedule that's unforgiving, so we're not going to be dwelling, and I don't think I've ever seen the club or this squad dwell on anything, and even in the past year. So I think, as Cammy said as well, this week training has been good. We spoke about things on Sunday, and then we've focused on tomorrow night's game, and it's been really good. I think for players and staff, if we can't be getting up for games like tomorrow night, then we shouldn't really be at the club.
Thanks, David. Just in terms of outside Rangers Celtic, not many teams make it into the group stages of the bigger competitions. I mean, why is that? Why is that? You've been on both sides, and obviously, what would it mean if you could lead this Hearts team into Europa League?
Oh, it'd be a great achievement if we get in the Europa League, and I think I know you've got the group stages no matter what, but my mentality when I was a player, and I think the squad have got it as well, is we want to be as high as we can. We want to perform in the best tournaments we can, and we've got the chance to do that over this tie. I think it's harder there's a million reasons why Scottish teams haven't performed that well in the European competitions. It's been tougher over the years with the coefficiency, but a big part of that I think is experience. I think we've not had enough experience as clubs understanding what it's like to go the demand of it, and also how to manage a tie. I think what we can draw on from last season is a Rosenborg tie. I think there's similarities in terms of the setup of the stadium here and the feel of it compared to that tie. We managed to navigate our way through that with a few setbacks in terms of losing the first leg, losing an early goal in the second leg, but we didn't panic. We stuck to what we believed would work, and it did. We're here a year later in a similar situation. We've got to draw upon that, have that bit more experience, and ultimately get through the tie, which I believe we can do. We'll need to defend better than we have done in the last two games, but we're a good team. We're coming up against a good team, so I think it'll be an entertaining game of football.
How does the way they play and how good their home record is, and what you talked about in terms of managing the tie, impact your team selection or how you approach the game?
No, the setup is to try and come out with a win in the game. That is what it is. But we do need to recognise that it's a two-legged tie, and as you say, this is a really good team we're coming up against. Their record of short term in terms of this season is really good. They've not conceded many goals, they've scored a fair few, but their consistency in European competition tells you everything you need to know about them. So they can cause us problems, and that's why I say we need to defend better than we have been doing. But if we can have the energy and intensity in our work, then I believe we can cause some problems as well, and like I said, come out the tie with the result that we want. So yeah, it's exciting, it's really exciting, and we look forward to it.
Can we mention a couple of things, Stephen, that this is an award for what we did last season, and given all the kind of noise that's been going on the last couple of days. So is it just, have you stressed that as well, that it's important to remember just the achievements of last season and what you get for it?
We consistently reference it, and it is good to reference it, but we got our reward for that at the end of the season. We get the plaudits, and we have the player of the year in the squad, and we have a fair few players named as having really good seasons. It's now to then have an hour better at, like we said, playing the bigger competitions, and we're one tie away. That we can't. We need to reference that as well. That it's there for us. we need to work really hard, we'll need to play really well, but we can do it. And then the challenge beyond that becomes the group stage European football tied in with our domestic fixtures.
Stephen, you spoke at the weekend about squad rotation and how you would deal with that going forward. What's the mindset going into this game? Is it just the case of strongest team on the park because it's a massive tie, just get out there and do the best sort of thing?
Yeah, like every game, we'll pick the team that we believe is the best for the game. I think at the weekend it was frustrating, and maybe the change of too many players does impact that, but like I said, it's small margins. If you score 1 or 2 goals in the first half, then the dynamic of the game changes. So we'll put out the team tomorrow that we think will get as a result, and then we'll do the same on Sunday and then next Thursday. But I think a lot of these games are small margins, and certain players will impact games better than others, and that's how we'll pick the team, like we always do.
Could you give us an update on Frankie Kent? I believe he trained today, and will he likely be involved tomorrow?
Yeah, everybody that's travelled's fit. The only ones that aren't are the Benny and Callum, and Andres hasn't got his documentation to travel, so he's not travelled.
Stephen, obviously as a player, you get your European experience. How much can you draw under working under like sort of Paul Smith in that when he was in European nights and big runs and that?
Oh, not just for the European nights, but it's like every manager I've worked with. You pick out loads of details that they done, how they worked, good bits that you like, bits that you didn't like, and that's not just in the match. That's in our travel. Do we train here? Do we train at home and travel? All these small things have been impacted by who I worked under and the managers I worked with. They then, next part, as I touched on earlier, was the two-legged fat tie. As players, you can sometimes just get caught up in that 90 minutes and not see the bigger picture. It's important that we do know that. And I think in recent times, Steve Clarke's been big, obviously working closely with him, but I've worked under some really good managers and I've played in Europe with Everton and Rangers and had some good experiences, so I know what it takes, and we'll pass on every bit of information we can that we believe is right for the players to get through the tie.